Welcome to the Crusader. It's been a long time coming, yo. But I'm here now.
Man down. You ain't really bad. Pack down. I don't give a fuck right now. Why everybody judge like Simon Cowell? All up on my IG, undercover. But you don't like me, suck your mother. If a nigga try me, won't recover. If you don't like me,
Yeah, so that's the image we were using, bro. Got most of the stuff in there. I can punch some whites and some highlights. I'll finish his shorts, go back through, tighten up his face, and then finish all these lower level stuff too here.
yeah, sick.
Yeah. Cool beans, man. Yeah, it's gonna be good. Alright, sweet. Alright guys, today's guest in the studio, Benny Mahoney, professional boxer, well decorated fighter in the fight industry, from Muay Thai, K1, you've done it all. You've pretty much done it all.
Bar MMA. I haven't done
Everything but MMA.
Maybe
Yes.
one day.
One day. Super special guest. Benny's been in my corner many times. We've done tons of tattoos on him as well. Loyal representative of the Fresh Ink sponsorship, and just a dear friend of mine. He's just a good dude. So yeah, thanks for coming through, man. I'm excited to finish this tattoo up for you and give the guests some stuff, some chat to talk about.
I appreciate you getting me on, man. It's epic to be back. I've been wanting to do this for a little bit.
Yeah.
Sitting this gun with the cameras with this, so
Yeah.
big introduction.
Oh no, we had a bit of a hit out this morning. Did some training. That was good. And now we're here. Time to inflict some pain on Benny. Sweet, man. So did you start your fighting career in Muay Thai?
Yeah. So my dad kind of like made up his own martial art, which is awesome because he was a Taekwondo and he was like I think a second Dan black belt. Forgive me if I'm wrong, Dad. But he was quite a good martial artist when he was younger.
Yeah.
And then he wanted me and my brother Azza to get into it, so he kind of opened up his own thing called BKD, which was like boxing Kwon-Do. He just like slapped two together, and he had his own dojo, I guess you'd say.
Go there, old boy, eh?
Yeah.
Revolutionary.
It was in like Rabina Parkway, and he just opened up like just hired a space a couple of times a week, and it was twice a week, like a Tuesday and Thursday or something.
Yeah.
And we ended up getting a couple of members. There was like, I think at one point we had about 30 people in the classes and stuff.
That's sick.
And we'd just go in and you'd do like all the gradings and you do your patterns and stuff, and you'd have to break all the boards. Like you ran it like a Taekwondo class, but every now and again he'd bring headgear in and chuck some gloves on us and let us
Actually go.
box, have a good crack. It was a little bit more physical because obviously Taekwondo is like a scoring system.
Yeah.
You hit, then you break, and you land a shot, then you break. Whereas with the boxing, you kind of just let us keep going. And then I started going to Boonchu Gym because they'd shut that down, and I still wanted to kind of continue doing martial arts. So I ended up going to Boonchu because my older brother was there. Wayne kind of noticed that I knew how to throw a kick and how to throw a punch, and he was kind of hit me up pretty early after about 3 months and said if I wanted to fight. And I jumped in pretty quick, and then after I had that first fight I just kind of stuck with it, just kind of frothed it and enjoyed fighting and thought we'll stick with it.
This is what I'm going to do, eh?
Yeah.
Well, fuck, look at us now, man. Look where you've come.
Yeah. I think once you have your first fight you realise how much you got to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just want to be better than that last one.
It's just so easy to get hooked, eh? Oh man, it was the same when I had my first fight. I was I was a tattooist. I had no intentions of changing career path, and then it was nah, I've got a short window. I need to do this. It was just that calling.
100%, especially with MMA too. Guys peak at such different ages in different sports as well.
Yep.
A lot of guys with boxing, they throw you under the bus if you hit 30. He's past his prime. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Whereas MMA, I feel like you're getting into your prime when you hit your 30s.
Yeah.
Start to get that man strength, whatever that is. How many more pieces you got before you're going to pack it up with the whole camp? You're going to be doing bits and pieces here and there?
Tattoos wise?
Yeah.
Nah, pretty much just you, man. I'll probably jump straight back into it. I am straight. Next week is my a solid week back in.
You're going to do your full camp for combat?
Yep. What about you, man? You got any ideas for fights on the horizon?
Yeah, look, I'm just kind of waiting for the rankings to come out because obviously that last fight that I had, I got a bit of a stitch-up draw on it.
Yeah, fuck, we need to talk about that too.
Yeah, so pretty much I went over to Sydney to fight a no limits card and had a fight with Cohen Majudia, who's quite a lot tougher and better than I thought he was. But we fought for his WBA regional title. I went over there. You go to the backyard of them, their show, their promotion, their belt, their fighter. You're kind of up against it, but when you kind of back yourself, you got to take those risks at times. And
Yeah.
it was a big opportunity, and the show was awesome. There's nothing against the show, you know. It's unfortunate that judges can be not corrupted, but corrupt, I guess. But I thought I had a comfortable 7 rounds to 3.
Man, not just you, the whole nation. For anyone that hasn't seen it, this isn't just one of those, oh, the judges got it wrong. This is one of those scenarios where go watch it for yourself, go back, look at it, and this is just fucking daylight robbery if I've seen it, man.
And a lot of people say, oh, you know, like, commentary's biased and all that kind of stuff. Turn off the commentary, don't listen to it, and watch it. Even without that, I thought I had a pretty steady lead. Like, I broke my hand in round 4 as well, so I had to fight 6 rounds with one hand, essentially. And, you know, at the end of it, the judges' scorecards were all over the place. They had one that was 7 rounds to me, 3 rounds to him. Then one was 7 rounds to him, 3 to me, and then one had it 5 apiece. So I don't
So far,
yeah, it's crazy.
And then
man.
even on that same show, Rowan Murdoch, another one of our mates from the Gold Coast who boxed on there, professional boxer.
Yeah.
Even his scorecards were all over the show, man. Like,
Yeah. And look, I think like with Hardman and Rowan, I think Rowan dominated the first 3 quarters of that fight, and Isaac came back really hard and took the last few rounds and put some big shots on him. And it was a really competitive fight, but I thought Rowan definitely took that chunk of that fight by. I thought comfortably, you know what I mean?
I thought comfortably too, yeah.
So, I mean, when you look at the scorecards, some had it everywhere. Their scorecards were all over the place too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, it's hard.
I mean, I think there needs to be an open criteria, and it needs to be, the biggest thing that I think we need is like scrutiny on the judges. So if there is bad calls and there is things done, like now they just go on to the next show and, you know, everything gets forgotten. But like there's nothing if they want to do bad calls or anything. It's just, that's it, too bad, so hard. Like, so do you ever miss like the kickboxing element? Like I know you still sometimes, like I'll see you in the gym, you still start throwing kicks and start doing bits and pieces.
Yeah, I don't think you ever like lose it, eh? I think obviously I still like teach it and stuff like that. I do some PTs and we work together. And
stuff that we do together and that, yep.
So like as soon as I start to, whether we teach it or talk about it, you can feel the passion come up straight away.
Yeah.
I don't think about it when I'm not doing it, but it's definitely still there. I still like, you know, keep up to date with some of the one fights, and I love obviously watching the UFC and the MMA. I love watching the striking department of that.
Yeah.
And can appreciate some high level striking. You run, Joshy?
Not really, bro.
Injuries or just in general?
I just got shocking knees, bro. I find like it's just easier for me to do my work on like the aero bikes and shit. You love running, eh? I don't know if you love it, but you do it a lot.
Yeah, I used to love it a lot more, man, when I was younger. Back when I was training out of Boonshoe, bro, we do 12k in the morning, in between 8 and 10 in the RV. 28k a day.
Fucking hell, and training.
Before training sessions, yeah. Yeah, you run a lot. I think it's like the Thai boxing culture. Nothing's ever like high paced or anything, but just a lot of Ks.
Yep.
Yeah, I used to run like quick too, long distances quick. I think there was one point I was doing like 100-kilometer weeks every week.
Damn.
And then I had a bit of a break, and then I put on a little bit of weight, and seriously have not been able to run the same since.
You were over there hanging out with Rowan in Bali as well? Was he over there at the same time?
Yeah, man, they went a couple of days after us, so we literally come back from Sydney after that last flight. We came back before Sunday morning. We flew back Monday morning. First thing, we went straight to the hospital, got a cast put on my hand, and then came home after our staff, and then flew that Tuesday morning. I think they left on like the Wednesday or Thursday.
Yep.
Ended up meeting them over in Canggu. Just for a night, we stayed in Uluwatu most of the time.
Yeah, always just sick, eh?
Oh, so we got a few mates over there. Shout out to Maddie and Jake. They helped me organise the proposal while I was over there. Got proposed. We got engaged. I proposed over there, so that was epic.
Yeah, congratulations on that too.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, happy as. Very, very happy. But all the boys helped me, like rendezvous and organise that. So I only had one hand. I couldn't ride a bike for myself. So
oh no, it's true.
Start a group chat and get them all to
help out.
Pretty much carry me like a backpack. Crazy story actually. When we were down on the hill, we went to like one of the hills on like an little cliff, and I said to the boys, I was like, I want to do it tonight. Like, I want to do it at sunset. 'Cause we had a few really beautiful sunsets over there, and it was at the perfect spot.
Yeah.
And all the boys, they're so funny. It's Bill, Maddie, and Jake, and we were all riding up. Maddie took Bill took Em in the back of his bike, and Jake, he took me. And on the way up, I had the ring in my pocket. And it was a bit overcast, and then Jake was like, nah, this isn't it, we got to abort. I said, what the fuck do you mean we have to abort?
No way,
I was nervous enough as is, and then when we get to the hill, there was so many people on the hill.
Oh.
And then so then I look around, Bill's going, no, we got to bail on this, And we stood around and we all kind of had a drink, and then me and Em went up to the top of the hill, and Jake wanted to get his camera, like the riding in, so we got a photo, and then we kind of stood around for like an hour and just drinking our drink, and kind of like, we were sweating balls. And actually said to us, like, why are you guys all so sweaty, like, and then all these monkeys, because there was no right time to do it. There was just people on the cliff face, and yeah, too full on. I was like, oh, this isn't it, we'll just have to do it later in the trip. And then all these monkeys, man, like 40 monkeys, like legit crawled out from the top of the hill and like started attacking people, and like were like hissing at the dogs, and they had little babies on their stomachs and stuff. They were opening people's drink bottles and drinking, taking their food. Cleared the hill out. It was like they all paid to come in, and like
monkeys just cleared
everyone off. Yeah.
And he's just stuck around and just like.
Yeah. Well, as soon as the monkeys like cleared everyone out, I like to turn around, looked at all the boys, and the monkeys like pissed off down into the bushes, and I was like,
"This is it.
Like, buggers.
We're on it. Yeah, buggers. We're on here."
And then I took her back over to the thing. She's like, "We already got a photo." I was like, "Just come to the hill." And then,
Just come.
Yeah. And then I didn't even know, I mumbled a little bit. I was so nervous, but I'm glad she said yes, because I was joking about it. I was like, oh, there's a cliff face, so she said no. We jumped.
See ya.
Yeah.
Got any old stories from some of your flights? Maybe something that's would be interesting.
Oh man, probably a few, to be honest. Like, there's a couple of things stand out. Like, I remember China both times actually. I don't think I'll ever go back there, to be honest with you. But
oh yeah?
Yeah, I've had two shit runs over there. The first one went over, I fought a guy called, excuse me if this is wrong, but it's Mahoney. I remember when we first got the fight, so I was training with Wayne Parr at the time, and we got a call up for a short notice fight, because I fought in that 8-man eliminator here on the Gold Coast in the Eruption.
Oh yeah,
and so I ended up winning 3 fights in one night, and then I had probably 3-4 weeks off, and I was just cooked. My body was so bad, my shins were gone, my forearms were gone, and they called me up and they were like doing a fight in China. We got a guy that, actually that was the second China fight actually. This first one was short notice as well, but they said doing a fight over, and Wayne and Josh at the time couldn't make it over because they didn't have their passports or their visas sorted for it.
Yeah, okay.
And I remember I was like, well fuck, how am I going to get over there? And so I called my mate Jamie Stamp. Do you remember Jamie?
Who is it?
Jamie Stamp. So Jamie, yeah. So for the guys that don't know, Jamie Stamp is one of my like oldest friends. He's a very, very elite Thai fighter back in the day. Fought the best of the best. Yeah, he had 40 odd pro fights as well. But yeah, he was really, really good. And so I called him up and I was like, hey dude, my coaches can't come with me, but I really want to take this fight. Do you want to come along with me? And I've got into the second story here because this was the second story. But this is when we got over there, we fought a guy. This was Yongpun Sitmonchai. So he was like, he was, I think he was number 3 in the world at the time.
Big fight.
Yeah. And I remember we were on the bus and we like landed in the embassy, got all our shit done, and when we got over there, we were on the bus on the way to the venue, and Jamie was kind of like, should we come up with a game plan? Like, we don't really know what to do. And I was like, yeah, sweet, we'll look at a few of his fights, and we went online, and it was just knockout after knockout after knockout after knockout, and he was just sleeping everyone with a left hook. And Jamie, literally, we had a laugh about it. He goes, alright, game plan is don't get left, hit with the left hook, that's it. And we like, had a little bit of a giggle. And then we get there, and then I started warming up, and once we started putting my wraps on, I think the severity of the situation hit me, and I was like, oh wow. Like, I've just taken a week's notice fight with Yod, and I've got a mate in my corner. Like,
yeah, this is pretty hectic.
Yeah, what are we doing? And then I went out there. First round, I did really well. I thought I won the first round. And then the second round, I got hit with the left hook.
You got hit with it?
I got hit with the left hook.
Come back to the corner.
Yeah,
that was not part of the game.
Nah, he melted me too. I was doing really good, and I threw a leg kick and stepped straight back to the ropes, and he just traced my kick in, and he melted me. It felt like I literally bounced off the bonnet of a car. It was to this day the hardest I've ever been hit.
Yeah.
I'm lucky the ropes were there because the ropes caught me and slung me onto my feet, onto my knees, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was sitting down with my head on my knees, and I remember I was so spaced. You ever see guys get knocked out and they're like locked up and they're like, making that sound? I felt like that. Like I couldn't.
You felt like that, but you were awake.
Yeah, like I couldn't lift my head up, and I was just sitting there going, fuck. And then I remember I got up on like the count of 6 or 7. And then I just survived the rest of the round. I cut him at the end of that round with a step up elbow, and then I remember round 3 I just went out and survived. And then I don't remember the rest of the trip. Like, apparently we went out that night. Apparently we went to like a ceremony night after to celebrate the fights, and everyone.
Yeah, I remember.
I don't remember anything now. I just remember kind of waking up the next morning and.
That's hectic.
Yeah, I don't remember the third round. Nothing. I remember everything until the punch. But rewind just to the first story, which I just mixed in. When I was training with Wayne, we went to China on about a week's notice to fight South Manui, but we didn't know who we were fighting when we got the offer.
So both your fights in China were late notice?
Yeah, both late notice, yeah. And so I went to fight this guy, and it was a kickboxing fight, and I was like, around that time, I really wanted to get into kickboxing. I wanted to try to chase the glory or something like that. And then, so we went over there. It's called Faith Fight at the show. I've never heard of it until then. And we got into the venue. There was some big fights like the Odd Witcher. Who's that little Rodtang? He fought on. He was on the card. So it was a pretty big card. So I was pumped to be on it. And then I went over there and got. I think we flew in Wayne night, the night before Wayne, and we ended up flying in at midnight. And when we got to the venue, they took us straight back into this. Back room, and like, you got to put your tie pants on, you got to do some promo shoot. So they oiled me up, and I was screaming down the barrel of cameras until 1 a.m. And then I'm like, alright, we got to go to bed now. And they go, alright, Wayne's at 8 a.m. And I was like, because we thought it was going to be an afternoon Wayne, so like, fuck. So we ran to the sauna at like 1:30 a.m.
Oh shit.
As I cut all this weight. Yeah, I think I cut like 3.5 or 2.5 or something. We got a couple of hours sleep, went to the Wayne in the morning, and we had no idea who we were fighting still. Like, we didn't know. We couldn't really pronounce the name, we didn't know what he looked like. And we were sitting in this room and we were just kind of looking around, everyone was weighing in. Surely we'll be up soon. And the main event of the evening, Ben Mahoney versus South Manui. When we first walked in, there were these posters of this like chiseled jack dude with this slick hair. It looked like a bad dude. I'm like, fuck, I wonder who's fighting him.
Oh no!
Yeah, that's what we said on the way in. We're like, fuck fighting that guy.
Imagine fighting that guy.
Yeah, and then they're like, main event, Ben versus South, and he fucking comes out looking like a, bar freak, huge, and then he missed weight.
Oh, you're kidding.
And then we weighed in, and anyway, we got into the fight, and I thought I beat him pretty comfortably. Round 1, I won.
Yep.
Round 2, I dropped him really bad. I gave him an 8 count, hit him with a straight cross, and punched his mouth guard about a metre out of his mouth. Round 3, I probably lost, and they gave him a unanimous decision win.
They gave him the...
Yeah, bro. So I got a 10-9, a 10-8, and then a 9-10 to him, and I lost on unanimous.
That's fucked.
Yeah, so they were the kind of the 2 experiences I had in China.
Yeah, I can see why that's enough.
It's kind of scarred me a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I've had heaps of wild stuff happen over the years. You know what it's like. Fight sports is crazy.
It's a crazy sport, man. Yeah, that's why I asked the question. I thought you've got some good ones there for it.
The eliminators are always interesting too, you know. And you fight a couple times in one night.
You got to fight it, a few times in one night.
And you go back into the back rooms, you kick your legs up, and you're busted up, and then you kind of adrenaline dump comes down, and then you got to try and peak it for the next
Put it all together. Do it again. Alright guys, if you made it this far, you must be enjoying this content. If you can like, subscribe, hit that little notification, all this stuff helps. It's a brand new channel, I'm trying to grow it and bring you guys some more interesting content, so yeah, show some love, show some support. Is there a moment in your career up till date that really stands out to you?
Yeah, there's a couple, bro. Like the one, like I was kind of saying before, like when I was on that interview in that park for that fight, that was when I fought at Suncorp Stadium on the Jeff Horn Mundine undercard.
Yep.
for me, it wasn't just about like the promotion. It was more like a certain moment. Like when we were in the back room warming up, I think 25,000 were in that stadium that night, and they put me up 3 from the top, so the stadium was packed out. And I remember kind of walking. You know, you see when you're younger, you watch UFC, boxing, whatever it may be, and you see them do that massive walk, like the 150 meter walk. Then you see the screens, the stadium, and it's kind of the be all and end all of what you want to do, you know. And I remember we walked out, and I think I didn't realise what it was going to be like until I walked out the runway. And man, I was just spun. I was like, holy shit! And there was like a sea of people. And they kind of walked down the stairs, and then starting to walk, and you got like the ring camera in your face, walking backwards.
You'd have been like, shit, I'm doing it.
Yeah, this is legit. And I was looking up I was watching myself on the screens while I was walking out. Like I wasn't even focused on the fight at all. And I kind of remember, it almost felt like a out of body thing. Like I felt like I was watching myself above myself. Like it didn't feel real at all, man. It was one of the most surreal moments of my life. And that was kind of like, it took me a couple of rounds to kick into the fight too. But I think that was the moment where I was like, holy, like this is what it's like 25,000 stadium world title card. Like I think that was my fuck, I'm actually doing it moment.
Yeah, I'm here, I'm doing it. Yeah, sick.
You know, and there's been conversations with people, you know, and I know there's a lot of Aussie fighters have signed with them now, and it's a common thing, it's the norm. But you know, the first time I spoke to Eddie Hearn, you know, having people like Volkanovski that are around supporting, people like Israel Adesanya that are around supporting, having conversations with these kind of huge superstar names, like it's surreal, and it's humbling, but it's really cool to be able to get to a point. You know, I was just a kid that was in and out at home at 14, 15, training in a Muay Thai gym, being a skinny underweight kid, just kicking shit because I was stressed out, to being in this position. And it's nowhere near where I want to be. I'm not making great money or anything like that, but to be able to live my life doing what I love to do, being in,
blessing, man.
Yeah, 100%, to be in some of the conversations that I've been in, and to be in the situation. I mean,
that's sort of like,
it's crazy.
That was just like a sort of validation moment where you're like, wow, I'm like doing what I thought I was going to do. I'm set out.
And it's the mindset of like, fuck, I can do this, and anything can be done if literally all you do is put in hard work. Like that is it. And you hear all, you know, your favourite artists or rappers or motivational reels and stuff you see online, and they're like, just fucking put the hard work in and do it. It'll pay dividends kind of thing, and you're kind of like, oh yeah, whatever. But that's really all there is to it. Just keep your head straight, keep positive, keep, you know, your eyes on the goal, and fucking work hard in between, and you can get there, you know.
It is the truth, eh? What about a low light? That'll probably be this draw just come down, eh?
What's that?
In your career, I mean, obviously injuries always suck, and but they come and go, we get accustomed to them. Have you got a low light moment?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. There's
recently.
Yeah, like that last fight I had sucked, but I've lost fights in Muay Thai. The draw doesn't affect me. There's nothing about that affects me. But just I can't say names or anything like that because you can get yourself in trouble. But probably about a year and a half ago, I got stuck in. Actually, there's been a few. I had a crossover from my old gym and a few issues, but I was stuck in a contract pretty much in the last couple of years, and it kind of put me on hold for about 6 to 8 months because I was trying to get out of it, and I wasn't getting a let out of it, but I couldn't fight without their permission, but they weren't getting me fights, and it was just this bit of a lull, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. As a fighter, you just want to fight, you just want to box, you just want to make money. You know, I want to get to a point where I can win a world title, defend it, make enough money to feed my family, my family's family, and you know, that's the whole ultimate goal. And to be on hold, especially because I'm not young, I'm not old, but I'm not young either. You know, I'm 28 now. Yeah. And you know, having 6-8 months out of your career is a big chunk, especially when the other person is just doing it out of spite or being malicious about it too, you know. So that was rectified, and we're on the green light now. We're all good. But there was a period about a year ago where I was pretty strung out. Injuries come and go. I had a fractured back a long time ago when I was about 18.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, actually, I had a real bad run for a little bit when I was younger. Ever heard of septicemia? So that's like sepsis when you get like blood poisoning.
I have heard of it.
Yeah, so like I fractured my back when I was younger in a fight. Again, a short notice fight. I fought a guy called Jake Marks. I was 16. I like never had. I think I had like 1 or 2 Thai fights, but full Thai fights before that, which means elbows and knees to the head. And I went in and got absolutely pummeled for 5 rounds. Like just got bashed. Like worst beating I've ever copped in my life. I got 3 of my ribs broken in the first round with a step up knee. Got dropped with an elbow. Got dropped to a knee to the head. Got dropped with a double bloody rib. I just got pumped. And obviously I lost that one, but that was on points. And I had a fracture in my L5 vertebrae along with my ribs, so I was out for close to a year because of that. And then I came back and I had a couple fights, and you know, I fought in a couple of eliminators. I think I found a bit of my like teenage strength, or getting towards my man strength at that age. I started winning and doing really good, and then I went to Thailand for a little bit to do a camp. And when I came back, I think I must have like staph on my skin or whatever, and I was plumbing at the time, and I must have like sweat the staph into an open cut. I remember I was at a comedy night one night, and I was at the table and I was having a joke with my mates. I was like, oh, I think I need shit, like my stomach hurts a little bit. And then within like an hour of saying that, I was like hunched over, couldn't talk, like cooking, so I had to go home. By the time I got dropped back home, I literally crawled from the car to my dad's house at the time, and I can't even explain to you like the pain that I was going through. I remember saying to my dad, like I kind of grabbed the bottom of the fly screen, he's opened the door, and I remember telling him I think I'm dying, like that's what I said to him. And he picked me up, took me to the hospital, and they took my bloods. This was at Robina Hospital. I'm throwing them under the bus because it was cooked. But like I was throwing up, I was on the floor, I was crying, I was like 19 or 18 at this time, so it wasn't like I was a kid. And I was an absolute mess. I couldn't explain the pain, and then they took my bloods and sent me home. And then I was in bed, man. Like I lost like 3 kilos overnight, vomiting, just cooked. And then they called me at like 4 or 5 a.m. saying, you need him to get to the hospital right now. He's got sepsis. So it's pretty much like staph that gets into your bloodstream. Wow. And the death rate on that is very high. Like it's just like the most common thing when people get surgeries and then they die after they get sepsis. It's just from infection and stuff like that. So we got an ambulance back. I remember being in the ambo, and like the chick was trying to talk to me about fighting, trying to kind of keep me awake, and then I just remember kind of like dozing out, and I woke up like a week later.
A week later?
Yeah, something like that. A couple of days later I was in hospital, and I had fucking cords coming out of every which way out of my arms. I remember I woke up, I was in and out for a few days, and it was pretty gnarly the whole time. Like my legs were like discoloured, and I lost like 7 or 8 kilos in that time frame too, and they were just pumping me full of meds and fluids all the time, kind of thing. And I was in hospital for 13 days all up, and it went from like not being. I remember the first time I got up to go for a piss, I got up and walked from like maybe the distance between me and you times 2, like it was super close.
Yeah. I
walked to the bathroom and walked back to the bed, and I like slept for like another fucking day after that because I was so tired from it. Like I was
just from that
walk. I was gone, you know. And wow. I think it was like day 10 I started to like go for walks down the corridors and stuff, and then that's man. Yeah, it was crazy. And then I think it was day 13 I got let out of there, and they said like I think I came straight off a fight, so they said to me, your body fought it really well, like that doesn't usually happen the way it did. So I was very fortunate that I was fighting at the time, but
because you were healthy?
Yeah, because my body was healthy or whatever. So but when I got out of there, they put a PICC line in my arm, which is like pretty much, it's a tube that goes into a vein in your arm, and it goes over your shoulder, down into your chest, into your heart valve. And then I had to wear a bag of medicine that a nurse would come to my house every morning in like 7 or 8 a.m. and give me a new bag of meds, and it would just pump meds into my heart, and I had that for 3 months. So that was just constant meds every day. And then when I got that out, I had 2 pills 4 times a day for another 6 months after that. So it was like a full year recovery, which took me out for so long. It was real hard to bounce back after that. That was.
You were 19?
Yeah. So I lost pretty much the years from 19 to 20. I lost that pretty much that whole year.
Just from being sick.
Just being crook, yeah. So that was probably like the hardest thing I had to bounce back from as far as physically goes, you know.
So is there anyone like that you would pay testament in your career, obviously probably Joshua there, that's really paved the way, sort of, or not paved the way in a sense, but I guess sort of really helped you get to this stage in your career, like, you know, coaches, people, friends?
Yeah.
I mean, M's played a big role, I'm sure, too.
Massively, yeah. There's been a lot of people over the years, like different stages of my life that have helped out in certain situations. To go through all of them would be a list that would go to the floor and out the door, you know what I mean? So people like, obviously Josh is like my day one. When I was training with Wayne Parr, like obviously Wayne trained me, Dan Jones trained me, Lee Murphy trained me, like there's a lot of guys, Adrian Ormerod, there's all these guys that used to train me out of Boonshoe, and towards the later years Josh started training me while I was there, and we crossed over and went from there. But you know, he's been there in the background for 14 years. I remember.
That's a long time.
Yeah, we were actually laughing about it the other week when we were in Melbourne, because I'm 28 now, and Josh has always just seemed like the older brother kind of vibe. Yeah, and we were working it out 14 years ago when I started at Boonshoe. I remember we were sparring, and I was just a little pup, man, like little kid, and I remember he used to put his gloves on, and he just let me tee off on him just to kind of do rounds and stuff like that, and Saturday sparrings. And we worked out the time, the age difference. I think he was 4 years younger than me now when I met him.
Wow.
And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, it's so trippy. It's such a long time ago, you don't really correlate it, you know?
Yep.
So he's been there the whole time, and without him we wouldn't have got anywhere. I remember he bought me in the early stages, bought me a pair of gloves because I couldn't afford any. He made him and his partner Stacey, they cut my first boxing kit to make sure it fit me. He was always there when giving us a lift home from training, stuff like that, you know what I mean? The little stuff that doesn't seem like much at the time, but really is the stuff that matters in the long run. But yeah, I can't thank Josh enough for everything he's done and still does. I've got, you know, from my S&C coach Blake, like the last few years, from since about 2018, he's been there and has helped ridiculous amounts. Just even with just like obviously the training part and aspects there, but the mindset, the knowledge of training, the knowledge of nutrition, just becoming a complete athlete, I suppose. Just being a good figure there too to bounce off. There's Sandy, a really close old friend. Shout out to her. She runs the Quantum Mooka Cup suicide prevention. Wonderful woman. She does a lot of good things for a lot of people that need it.
Man, me and Wade were having this conversation the other day, like people don't realise like how much of a sacrifice it is to be, you know, a fighter. Not just one, like you miss out, you know, birthdays and events and stuff, you don't get to drink and party, and you might have a fight just after Christmas, so you don't really get to do Christmas with your family. Like, yeah, there's that sacrifice, but also, you know, like when you commit yourself to this sport, you're completely committed to this sport, man, you know, and it's like you can't really make money until you're up at the top end of it, you know, like I'm not really much athletes making money just on the regional scene.
100% is,
and like to do that, like that's a lifetime body of work.
Yeah.
You know, like that's a huge dedication. And so when you get people like obviously like Sandy and Gouch and the other people, like it is a massive blessing, and you know, like, and I'm sure it gets overlooked a lot, but man, some of these people, you know, like they need to be commended because they're helping.
And and the crazy part is, bro, I could tell you another 5-10 stories outside of that, even in the last couple of years, that have meant the world as well, that have helped a crazy amount. So it does go a long way, and in my time too, I'm obviously trying to pass that on to as many people as I can as well. You know, it's crazy. There's some really, really good people out there, and they don't realise how much that little bit will help.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
Okay, Benny, so at the end of our tattoos, I normally get people to wrap it up and leave the guests with a sort of last message and put some highlights in now. So, yeah, I don't know, if you've got some words of wisdom, or you can give a big fuck you, or some, you know, something that you've learned along the way, like, yeah, let us hear it.
You know, one is just don't overthink things in life. Don't take it too seriously, because at the end of the day, when you're running a situation through your head and you're stressing out and you live in that moment twice before it even happens, it might not even happen. You know what I mean? You're only ruining today being in that headspace. A tired mind.
Suffering twice, eh?
Yeah, and a tired mind is a tired body. So, and then the other thing would probably just be control the variables that you can control, because everything else is out of your control.
Yeah.
You know, control your habits, your attitude, your mindset, your daily routine, I suppose. Just focus on that.
Those are good ones. Those are free. Write them down, guys. Nice.
Send you the invoice. Thanking you for doing this. This is epic. Appreciate you getting us in today.
No worries, bro.
It's been epic.
Itching to get this one sort of knocked out for a while now, so I'm glad we finally got the chance to knock this one out.
100%. And then we got that room for that Kimbo slice on the inside.
Who are you gonna wrap it up with? Have you thought about it? Who's the top three? Who's some candidates?
Probably Hearns.
Yep.
Probably Hearns. Roy Jones.
Yeah, Roy Jones.
I'm feeling Roy. If we've got to pick one at the moment.
Roy's an all-time favourite of mine, bro.
I'll let you decide.
Oh.
How about that?
Okay.
For you doing this, you decide what's on the inside.
It's gonna be me.
You know what? I'll let you do it.
You would too, eh?
I genuinely would let you do it.
You would.
Put like you and Wade with your arms crossed, standing back to back or something.
Wade would love that. Don't let him see this, because he'll make you do it. You said you would, bro. You said you would on the video.
You'd get real butthurt if I didn't do it.
Yeah. I knew you were all shit, Benny. I knew you were all shit. Pull some of that.
Tattoo. I was getting this Tyson done and I was like, I want it black and white, just like crisp. He goes, alright, sweet. And he started doing it, the outline. And then he's like, well, we'll put a little bit of red in the gloves. And I was like, yeah, sweet, cool. And then he's like, you know what would look sick? A little bit of like blue on the top and like a little bit of purple. And I was like, do you want to colour it? And he goes, yeah, we'll colour it. And just did the whole thing, and now my legs are coloured. But it looks sick. I'm so glad we did that.
Yeah, that Tyson pops too, man. Pops hard, eh?
Where's the Tyson?
So good.
This concludes episode 5 of Tattoo Talks with none other than Benny Mahoney. It's been a pleasure, bro. Stoked to already put my ink on you, and to be able to do one for the fans is even better. So, man, you inspire me daily, so to be able to give that back to some of my people is, it's epic, bro. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you. Likewise, feels mutual. Thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
Ledge.